It felt so much bigger than a major. It felt like an unburdening, like the ultimate cleansing. Somehow Sergio Garcia got from there to here, from discouragement, self-sabotage, to joy, fulfillment, self-belief. On the game's grandest stage, under the most extreme pressure, Sergio held off Justin Rose and buried his demons. A text message to begin the week, a birthday to end it all, and so many moments in between. Sergio Garcia, Masters champion.
Yes, good morning. It is Monday, April 10th, and the day that Sergio Garcia wakes up as Masters champion, having finally broken through to win his first major at Augusta National yesterday. Kyle Robinson with Gary Williams, Damon Hack, a man who has competed in 15 Masters tournaments, John Cook. Wow, that was some Sunday show, guys. John, it took Sergio 74 attempts to break through. He is now a major champion. You've experienced the chase for one of golf's big four. What was it like to see Sergio achieve a career-long goal yesterday?
Yeah, 74 starts, first major. He played himself off a list that's you have to have done something to be on this list, and it's very difficult to get off that list. It's not a list you really want to be on. Best player not to have won a major. But he played it off in style with grace and couldn't be happier, really. He deserves it. It's a deserving champion, and the way he did it, punch, counter punch with Rosie, just a great performance.
Remarkable.
You were there all week long. What was the atmosphere like surrounding someone that everyone knew had been trying to do this for so long?
You know, I think, Cara, that's one of the great takeaways that I have from the week. He got wonderful support, and you know how everybody is at Augusta National. All the patrons are very respectful of all the players, but for them to be chanting his name on that green is something I never anticipated or thought would occur for a number of reasons.
Sure.
Primarily that they were chanting it after he would have won a green jacket, Damon.
The whole thing is improbable. Conventional wisdom told us that Sergio Garcia would not win a major championship, and if conventional wisdom was wrong, Sergio Garcia would not win a green jacket at Augusta National. The scar tissue was supposed to be too deep, the burden's too big to overcome. That he dug deep on that golf course and beat that field and those players, Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, you name them all, Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose,
Adam Scott, and go on and on and on.
And another thing, too, Sergio Garcia will be hosting the Champions Dinner next year. He will be going to Augusta National for the rest of his life.
Yes.
It is absolutely remarkable.
Amazing, as he said. I get to call myself Masters champion. It's amazing. Redemption is the word that I felt watching all of this unfold. We mentioned it, the 74 starts. In that time, he has had 22 top 10 finishes in majors. 12 of those are top fives. 4 of those are runner-ups. This is a guy that had come so close so many times. Perhaps the long way did make it all the more sweeter. You know, there's often a conversation about Europe and America. And really, whilst this was a huge victory for Spain yesterday, there was no denying that. There was a lot of sentimentality about it. This was actually about seeing one of the greatest golfers of his generation rewarded on the biggest stage. And you could feel that from the patrons' unwavering support yesterday. Gary, you mentioned it. They understood the journey that he's been on and the bigger story that this is. To hear them, an American crowd chanting his name on the 18th green was phenomenal. And psychologically as well, guys, it was a different Garcia to who we had become accustomed to watching. And I'm fascinated to hear what Dr. Gio will say about what was a mental victory for a previously traveled player. I know he's going to join us in a minute, Damon, and there's so much to ask him about.
People love a comeback story. Sergio Garcia was little boy lost for the last several years, and people wanted to see him reach that pinnacle. He's had the love-hate relationship, having problems with the crowd in New York and Bethpage. Another thing I think is interesting, you mentioned his resume. When David Duval won his first major championship and only major championship in 2001, he said all of those battle scars suddenly become badges of honor. Now we're going to look at Sergio's record and say, wait, 22 top 10 in majors,
4 runner-up finishes. Now it's going to be you're a Masters champion and a Players champion, and you've also been in the thick, the heat of battle all of those times. So now all of those things that we used to see as shortcomings, and Duval said it beautifully then, now they look like badges of honor. You were actually in the thick of it. You were in the heat of the fight.
Yeah, just, the scar tissue and all those experiences. We've always said it, the experiences, whether they're good or bad, are experiences, and you draw on those. And Sergio, I'm sure at some point yesterday was going, oh, here we go, or no. He battled, he dug down deep to do it. And, it was just a great drama, great theater yesterday.
At times that we would have otherwise seen him say, here we go again. Like when his T-ball on the 13 ended up in the Pine Needles, he dealt with these situations incredibly well. Does a victory like this, John, give hope to some of those names that are still on that list of best players without a major?
Well, it depends on your age, obviously, like a Lee Westwood. No, maybe you never know about that. But I think the younger guys that are not on that list, I think it does give them great hope. And it depends on where it is, where those major championships are. But absolutely, the Matt Kuchars of the world certainly. You had to be paying attention.
You know what? And the word I would use is finally. I'm sure for him in his own mind, he's saying finally. And I think for a long time, many of us thought that he felt he was owed something. The game doesn't owe you anything. You have to earn it. And the manner in which he earned that victory yesterday, I know is going to make him proud for the balance of his life. Relationships can be complicated at times. And Sergio Garcia's relationship with golf fans has been just that, really since the age of 19. Well, things are changing, and there's one thing he will never have to hear again. Here's our Rich Lerner.
Oh, that's cheeky. Yeah.
All the talk about the crowd. How did you feel the atmosphere was today?
Obviously, I definitely know I haven't won a major.
Everyone wanted to love Sergio, and they did at first in Europe as a teenage prodigy. Drawing comparisons to the greatest Spaniard of all, Garcia destined to win the Masters like Seve Ballesteros and Jose Maria Olazabal. They loved him in America too, instantly, with the cool nickname El Nino, chasing Tiger at Medina, kicking up a storm, and you thought this could be one of the greatest 20-year rivalries in golf history. He didn't win in Chicago in 1999, but he did through the years in Texas, New York, D.C., France, Ireland, China, and the Middle East. But as it turned out, he ended up as more of the pro wrestling heel than hero. Combative, Sergio against the United States, and that was fun. Sergio against the fans of New York. That was not as much fun. He fought the grip yips, took another run at Tiger at the 06 Open, and it did not go well. Sergio looking all yellow at Liverpool. And then a year later, a chance to end the torment, establish his footprint, and get on with fulfilling his major destiny at 27.
Did he? No!
Carnoustie was painful. And in the aftermath, Garcia took up his beef with the golfing gods.
I'm playing against a lot of guys out there, more than the field.
A year later at the PGA Championship, sunk again, this time at Oakland Hills. And a man with lesser physical tools had suddenly won his third major, while the wonderkin was still searching. Garcia won here and there in the ensuing seasons, and he burnished his Ryder Cup legend. No small feat. But still, he couldn't seem to get out of his own way.
Then next time we come to the U.S., they'll tell me, you only have one major. We'll sound a little bit better.
He's more at ease, but he remains a fighter. Though he is no longer fighting himself. He's a Masters champion. After all that, everyone, it seems, really does love Sergio Garcia.
Been quite the journey, and in good times and bad, Sergio has been wonderful in the press center. He was again yesterday saying this: I've been getting some good help, and I've been thinking a little bit different, a little bit more positive, and kind of accepting too that if it for whatever reason doesn't happen, my life is still going to go on. It's not going to be a disaster, but it's happened.
And with that, we head out to the Golf Advisor phone line, welcoming our good friend, Dr. Gio Valiante. Good morning. It's great to speak with you, Doc. Listen, yesterday was unbelievable, but that quote, why does it resonate with you so much?
Well, it's interesting, Damon. One of the things that happens on the developmental trajectory for great golfers as they go from youth to adulthood is you hope that they learn to accept the game as it is. You know, one of the things, it's like one of the metaphors I use is when you're a young child trying to pull your jeans off over your sneakers, and the harder you pull, the more stuck you get. And mentally, golfers who try to fight the game and go through these other toxic emotions like shame and guilt and blame, that's the relationship they have with the game, and that seems to be the relationship that Sergio had with the game for the last 10 years. So the fact that he flipped the switch and he started accepting most demonstrably on number 13, and it let him out. And that is so, I'm so excited to hear it, that he found it. It's unfortunate, honestly, I don't mean to put a negative spin on a wonderful experience, but boy, oh boy, had he been able to find this earlier in his career, you get the sense we'd be talking about 6, 7, 8 majors right now. But the fact that he got it, that he got redemption through acceptance is wonderful.
Well, Doctor, before he got to acceptance, what specifically do you think he had to overcome? Was it embarrassment? Was it anger? Was it frustration? Which of those emotions do you think he was carrying mostly on his shoulders?
Well, you could see it. There was resentment, right? He would get frustrated when things didn't go his way. There was deflection and blame, right? When he said, I'm playing against more than just the field out there. He would talk about, there was envy. Right? You can go through the 7 deadly sins, right? Envy, when Tiger Woods, when Sergio got stuck in the rain, and he said, boy, if Tiger Woods was out here in the rain, they would have pulled us off the golf course. So he really had a collection. It was like a cocktail of toxic emotions. And one of the things that we know, Damon, is the game of golf is so sensitive to psychological fluctuation and emotional profiles that when you walk around and your reactions to the game are toxic, it manifests itself in the physicality of the game. And that's why golf has such sort of a psychological and spiritual realm. So now that he's older, there's more grace, obviously acceptance. With that comes psychological freedom. If you look at the opposing emotions of anger and fear, when your reaction to bad golf is anger, well, you start to condition your own fear. And that's why I think we saw a lot of tentativeness out of Sergio prior to this Masters. Now that his reaction is acceptance, what you saw was more freedom. And so the opposing emotions of anger and frustration, which lead to fear, and acceptance, which leads to freedom, was on full display. And couldn't be happier for the young man. But it was absolutely a lesson in psychology.
Well, Dr. Gio, Justin Rose already has his major championship. He has an Olympic gold medal as well. What's important for him to take away from yesterday at Augusta?
Well, just to make a connection there, Justin Rose went 9 years on the PGA Tour without a win, and then he won at the Memorial. And what a lot of people don't understand is part of the transition of his golf game was also practicing acceptance. He was a fiery young man from England with a South African background who, when he would play bad, wouldn't accept bad shots. So acceptance is a theme throughout this Masters and really throughout, all the winners in golf. But one of the other things that people don't understand is in 2015, when Justin trailed Jordan Spieth in the Masters, he made 19 birdies and 5 under 1. And so what we know very clearly is Justin Rose plays Augusta National very well. If you saw his Saturday night interview, you could just see the composure and the calm and the confidence in Justin Rose's face. And the positives he took away yesterday, he said, listen, I play well here. I've got a lot of years left in me. I think Justin Rose is more convinced than ever that he's going to win a green jacket. And I think he's convinced everybody that he's going to win a green jacket.
It's a great point, Doctor. And both players show so much compassion for each other and so much grace. Thanks so much for your time. It's great speaking with you. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Damon. Have a great week, guys. Enjoy.
All right, you as well. Dr. Gio Valiante joining us on this Monday. We say good morning to Lauren Thompson. What's up, LT?
Good morning, Damon. Love hearing from Dr. Gio. What a wise man. But now moving into this hour's tee sheet. So before Sergio locked in that green jacket, you may have had your eyes specifically on the putting grip used by both him and the eventual runner-up in Justin Rose. So later this morning, we're going to bring in the host of the Golf Fix, Michael Breed, to dial you into the benefits of the claw. Also what it is, in case you're unfamiliar, especially if you struggle with tempo and keeping that face square throughout your putting stroke on the greens. Also on the way, plenty of guests to weigh in on Sergio's victory, including his 2014 European Ryder Cup captain and four-time European Tour winner Paul McGinley. He has a unique perspective you should hear the day after Sergio's long-awaited major moment. He's going to be joining us live. But how about hearing from Sergio himself? We've got an exclusive, never-before-seen interview, and Sergio took a seat with the Masters win fresh on his mind. He's also going to relive what his life has been like in golf's hot spotlight, both good and bad throughout the years. Because if you knew all the stepping stones while watching yesterday, you understood how the emotions were hard to escape over the past few days.
I'm going to be totally honest. I didn't think that the change will be, that I will be able to change this quickly. You know, I've had some tough times around, and to be able to deal with some of those emotions throughout the whole week and accept the good things and the bad things and move on and keep going. It was something that gives me a sense of extra proudness.